Mike. That's the wrong number.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
The Odyssey just dropped in cinemas, and I'm not gonna lie, it has been some absolute peak cinema. I mean, to the insane themes of Greek fiction and the 95% Rotten Tomatoes audience score, we have to talk about how legendary this movie's been. Like it up if you haven't already. Alright, first of all, let's go over some characters that really stood out to me. Oh my word, they've been everywhere. Agamemnon. I kid you not, Agamemnon probably had about 3 minutes, 4 minutes of screen time and like 3 lines. And somehow managed to absolutely aura farm and take over the entire movie. My goodness, when the gates opened to Troy and Agamemnon just stood there and aura farmed. Oh my word, that armor did some crazy work to broski. And it's crazy because people are finding photos of the actual actor and saying, oh, actor this, oh, actor that. I don't even care. They did a good job, but the armor is ridiculous. I mean, let me tell you a quick story. I'm on FaceTime, well, I mean, I have Android, so really WhatsApp, with my dad, and we're talking about this movie, right? And we're chopping it up. Yes, this movie was so good. You know, Christopher Nolan did such a great job. It was so cool. And then we're just like, we get to the topic of Agamemnon, right? And my dad is like, Agamemnon was so cool. I need him as a wallpaper. Like, I'm telling you right now, my dad, who's probably seen 10 or 20 times the movies I've seen, just said, I want Agamemnon as my profile picture. I mean, when you receive the dad approval, not much more needs to be said, okay? And I mean, the internet approved too. Just look at this.
I'm not exaggerating when I say I have never seen a more accurate definition of little screen time, infinite aura than Agamemnon in The Odyssey. Historical accuracy my ass. Christopher Nolan basically said, if I'm gonna be adapting an ancient fictional tale, we're gonna aura farm.
And what an exceptional job they did with Agamemnon. And the kneeling scene, crazy. Next, we have to talk about Odysseus. I'm not gonna lie, whole movie, bro was genuinely suffering. Now, I'm not gonna lie, before watching this movie, I wanna say like 2 weeks before, I watched a Greek mythology video just to get prepared, you know, just to know what's gonna happen in the plot. They described it as bro genuinely suffering, then we got to the movie and bro genuinely suffered. I mean, first of all, let's just talk about this Cyclops, bro. Probably top 2 or top 1 scariest moment in the movie is that Cyclops scream. I genuinely felt that in my bones. And to anyone who's watched this in the cinema, I don't know what they put in those Dolby speakers, but I genuinely felt that in all of my body, okay?
You see that scene in the Odyssey where the Cyclops screams after being attacked? The reason why that scream is so terrifying and it scares people and they felt it in their soul, it wasn't like an ordinary scream sound. Everyone that heard that felt it in their soul. It's because it's from the sound of a brazen bull.
And then I did some research into finding out how they made this Cyclops sound. Apparently they used a Greek device to make the sound called the brazen bull. And they played the audio through that and then used some other horn or something and then put it together to make the Cyclops scream. Oh my word. 60-foot Cyclops, by the way. Deformed facial features, son of Poseidon. But honestly, the way he was just straight up eating people, my goodness. Like, not gonna lie, that had me in my cinema seat shaking in my boots. Then, I mean, the Giants one was just cooked. I mean, bro got to the island and thought he was gonna, like, you know, be the boss on the island just to get absolutely smacked by whatever the heck that was. I mean, I watched a Greek mythology video. I don't know what in the world those are. Some sort of giant population. I'm so glad bro dipped instantly. The fact that 2 of his boats went, my goodness. And bearing in mind, Odysseus was able to get through this just simply because he's that guy. But bro tried to fight against the Greek gods and obviously it went terribly. But arguably, I think one of the most standout parts of the movie was the witch scene when they were changing the men into genuine pig. Okay, that part of the movie, I was like, I might officially be like scared now. It's like that and the Cyclops scream. I don't know if you haven't seen the scene where, I forgot the lady's name, but she turns the men into pigs with cursed food. I need you to go look at that scene, bro, because that's not regular like movie horror stuff. That's like shaping and forming and like the vibe, oh my goodness. It was like too scary. And I mean, bro was doing all this and genuinely suffering while his son was just getting bullied back home. I mean, let's just keep it a stack. What did the son actually do the whole movie? Now, I'm not gonna lie though, Tom Holland did do a great job in his role, but still, the son was just getting bullied around. I mean, just getting kicked about and made fun of for the whole movie until his dad comes back to clutch the aura farm. Just had to throw that in there just to, you know, just to hate. Joking. And I feel like an off-screen character that I feel like was kind of a missed opportunity opportunity in the movie was Poseidon. Kind of crazy how they didn't show Poseidon one time, but referenced him in the movie a bunch of times. Essentially, if you don't know, the Greek story goes Poseidon cursed Odysseus for 10 years to never return back home. And that's why he goes through all of this suffering. That's why every time he goes to sea, there's a storm, because Poseidon is the god of the sea in Greek mythology, and essentially one of the strongest gods in Greek mythology, along with his brothers Hades and Zeus. And he possesses the sea trident, which gives him even more power. So that's basically why he has full control over the sea and mastery over all of that. And essentially has a bunch of illegitimate children, one of them being that Cyclops, which then caused the whole like sequence of events to happen. But yeah, I feel like there could have been more of an opportunity in the movie to at least explore the character of Poseidon, especially because, and now just, you know, let me nerd out on history and Greek mythology right now, because the Greek gods were very like, the way they were depicted wasn't actually like gods. They were very humanistic. They were not perfect. They were actually very petty, very sly, very imperfect characters. So that's why Poseidon was kind of like not a good dude. And I feel like they had a lot of potential in the movie where they could have actually explored that, could have seen, you know, what was Poseidon doing in Olympus, or I don't know if he resides in the sea or Olympus, but what was Poseidon doing at that point in time? How did he feel to be able to cause that to Odysseus? Like, I just feel like sometimes in the movie, it was missing some of that context. Like, I would have been so confused if I didn't watch the Greek mythology video before. That's at least me. I mean, I'm the one that's kind of more into history, so I feel like that's more of a me thing, but I really like to know your opinions on that. Anyway, speaking of evil characters, holy moly, Patterson, what a job. Being the evil suitor and actually playing that role so well, even I just wanted to punch the screen because of how annoying this guy was. I mean, the scene where he's just absolutely bullying beggars, I mean, come on, bro. Who is bro feeling like? And I'm not gonna lie, this is where I feel like more context should have been given. I've just felt like they just threw in Zeus's law. Like, bro, what is Zeus's law, bro? Like, I feel like they should have given more context, like, you know, the laws of Greek society. Zeus's law, by far the most important of the laws. If you mistreat a person who comes into your abode, because they didn't explain, I felt like they could have had more context. Like, they didn't explain the fact that Zeus not only is, you know, the god of the gods on Olympus, but he's also in Greek mythology the god of like strangers and housekeeping and giving company to people. They don't say that. They just say, oh, Zeus's law, you know, it might be a god in disguise, but that's basically it. They didn't really talk about how significant this is to society. They were just like, oh, people aren't keeping Zeus's law. Like, you know, I don't know. That was just me though. But yeah, getting back to Patterson, what a role he did. And I mean, he did die in like an auraless way, but he was good at making fun of people in the movie. I mean, bro had the wrist to almost bagged Penelope, almost. Broski was like this close to becoming a successful suitor. And honestly, they casted the right person for this. Now, a bit of feedback I guess I would have for the movie, and I really want to get people's opinion on this. When I was first watching the trailer and seeing the public reaction when it came out, was it just me, or was this like overwhelmingly negative? I don't know if I was watching the wrong commentators, but I just kept hearing people saying, oh, the Odyssey movie has so many dislikes, people don't like it, you know, this is so wrong, why did Nolan make this decision? And I'm just sitting here like, oh, okay, this movie's gonna suck. Like, I did not expect this to come out with a big boys 95% audience score, the highest ever, on like a movie weekend. I did not expect none of that to happen, you know. And I think one of the main talking points that I was seeing around is that it's not historically accurate, and that's something that I saw being talked about, and something I also noticed in the movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't most of these Greek mythology characters Greek or from the Mediterranean type of area? I do want to know, is it that significant to the story? I do want to hear everyone's opinion on this, because I thought most of the characters were Greek, so I was expecting to see characters like that in the film. However, it still turned out pretty good, so I mean, I don't really have that much of a problem with it, but still, you know, I saw this was a big talking point online, so I do want to see what people have to say. And yeah, touching on the context stuff, I feel like there wasn't as much context in the film. I feel like that could have been slightly better. More perspective on the Greek gods in Olympus. We never really saw much except like Athena showing up here and there, you know, just appearing and talking to bro about the past. But we don't really know why she did that in the movie, and I feel like if you looked into the historical context, you know, you would have seen that Athena in Greek mythology is the goddess of war, and she helps the courageous and the brave, also being seen helping other heroes in Greek mythology, but it was just Zendaya aura farming, which I guess that works. But yeah, you know, I would have liked to see like something else. Also, another thing that missed me was like, why was there no like substantial footprint of Achilles in the whole movie? Correct me if I'm wrong, Achilles wasn't in the film. Like, I kept hearing all this talk, you know, and looking into the history, Achilles was like part of the war, right? But Achilles actually wasn't in the movie, and instead I think it was Sinon. So So I would have liked to see some input from Achilles, because these are meant to be like the band of some of the greatest heroes in Greek mythology all coming together to do this crazy war, right? But I didn't see that in the film. So I would have liked that. I would have liked some more characters in there. I mean, I guess, you know, movie budgets are, I guess, have to be spent in the right place. And it probably would have been a lot of extra money to pay all these actors. And, you know, who knows what the assembly cut looked like with all the other edits, right? So I would have liked to see at least more external input into like the supernatural force. But anyway, it was a good movie. I really want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Odysseus was absolute peak cinema? Do you think it wasn't legendary? I really want to know what everyone's opinion is on this, because that's my take, but you don't have to agree. So let me know. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, follow all my socials at Hyperstrides. You guys are the best, and see ya.